Hey Hunters, Lord here, back with another Sunbreak Title Update 5 video. In this video we're going to be discussing how to build out sets for endgame longsword in Sunbreak, as this was the last major title update before we get a bonus update in June. In this video I'm going to be touching on things like skills, augments, charms, weapons, and I'll even showcase some builds for you guys using the things that we talked about at the end, so be sure to stick around for that. That way we can show you how to take all the information that I'm about to give you and use it to build an effective high damage endgame longsword set. Now I do want to go ahead and preface this whole video by saying that since this is the endgame of Sunbreak, I'll be covering sets that use a really expensive charm. One will have curious augments, but I'll also give you a no curio set too. With the new meldings, expensive charms are really going to make or break your set, so I'm sorry, I know it's tough, but I'll touch more on that later, I promise. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started off with skills. Now, longsword does use a lot of skills, but it isn't quite as intensive as some other weapons. Of course, you're going to have your typical skills that are just good for everything, like weakness exploit, crit boost, blood right, attack boost, etc. However, for longsword specifically, if you've been playing since base rise, you will definitely not be surprised to hear that quick sheath is definitely going to be your best longsword specific skill. Being able to get our special or sacred sheath off as quickly as we can is very important for getting off counters and building gauge. EI counters are still really the best way to build gauge, so being able to get into special sheath quickly will allow us to be able to react to attacks sooner and build our gauge easily and quickly. This needs to be in any longsword set that you make. Luckily, you can get 3 levels of this on a charm, or you can simply use the Velkhana chest piece for all 3 levels there as well, so it really isn't that difficult to fit Quick Sheath 3 into your sets. Now, the Risen Chameleos update was one of the best things to happen to raw weapons in general, but more specifically poison weapons and poison longsword. Build Up Boost is a massively useful skill, giving us a bonus 20% damage on all attacks that do apply status. Now, since the Gold Rathian longsword is the best longsword as far as raw longswords are concerned, elemental matching is an entirely different topic. This means that we'll have plus 20% damage on all our hits that apply poison. This also means we can couple it up with Foray, which gives us attack and affinity while the monster is poisoned. Since poison is also the only status that you can apply while the monster is afflicted with it, which means that when the monster gets poisoned, you can build up the next poison, which is something you can't do with like stun or paralysis, you can keep poison up much more consistently than the other statuses. A great skill to complement Foray also is Chameleos Blessing at level 3, which extends the duration of your poisons, allowing Foray to remain active for even longer and building up more poison before the current one ends. Another great skill added in Title Update 5 was Frenzied Bloodlust, which gives you an extra wire bug after clearing the frenzy for either 30, 60, or 90 seconds, depending on if you have level 1, 2, or 3 of Frenzied Bloodlust. This means we can have a longsword set that has 4 wire bugs active, plus a 10% refresh speed with Wind Mantle at level 1, and a plus 15% refresh speed with Wirebug Whisper level 3. Say hello to being able to spam Helmbreakers, Serene Pose, and even constantly move and refresh your Harvest Moon. Wirebugs are essential to optimal longsword play, so being able to have 4 of them active, refreshing very quickly, makes endgame longsword a true powerhouse. Alright, now that we've looked at skills, let's go ahead and talk about weapons. I already alluded to, of course, the best raw longsword in my opinion being the Gold Rathian longsword, as it has very high raw, a lot of poison, great slots, positive affinity, and can reach purple sharpness rather easily. For augments on this one, I personally opted to go for 6 levels of attack and 3 levels to sharpness. This means we are 5 raw lower than 8 levels of pure attack, but only 1 handicraft away from purple sharpness, whereas with 8 attack augments, you need 2 handicraft to get into purple sharpness. Now, that may not seem like a lot, but handicraft 2 with sharpness augment is 20 units of purple, which means when coupled with master's touch, we're going to have 25 units of purple on average, and with only attack augments and 2 handicraft, you're getting 10 hits of purple, which is 12 with master's touch. Of course, you can do whichever you prefer, both are going to be good, but I like the comfort of the extra purple sharpness, and since purple sharpness is a big jump over white, let's take a look at the numbers. Now with 8 attack augments, we have 390 raw, and white sharpness is a 1.32 times multiplier, giving us a total of 514.8, rounds up to 515 raw attack. However, with the sharpness augment and 1 handicraft, we're up to 385 raw times the purple sharpness modifier, which is 1.39, giving us 535.15 attack. So before any skills, you're already looking at a 20 raw increase while in purple sharpness, even though the weapon innately has 5 less. This is why I personally opted for the sharpness, because the longer you have purple, the better, which is why I dropped the 5 raw for 10 units of extra purple sharpness. Again, totally up to you what you want to do. Both options are definitely viable. I just ask you to consider how much you want to sharpen during a hunt. Now, Gold Rathian is not the only good longsword. Some other viable options that you could go for include the Scorned Magdamalo longsword, which doesn't get any help from foray, the Lucent Nargacuga longsword, which comes base with purple but has way less poison, so you'll have less uptime of foray. And I would also say that the Fine Camera longsword is a solid pure raw option, but of course you'll get no benefit from build-up boost or foray. Finally, I would say that the new Amatsu longsword could be a good option since it comes with super high raw and innate Silkbind boost, but you won't be able to use build-up boost or foray, and you'll have to overcome that very negative affinity. Elemental longsword is also a solid option, but I prefer to use a single raw option as that's less work for me overall when I'm making my sets. Alright, so we've looked at skills, we've looked at weapons, now let's talk about charms and armor. Title Update 5 brought us Vigor and Cyclist melding, and we can get build-up boost from Vigor melding only. Now this is actually a pretty big deal since before this update we could only get build-up boost by having 3 pieces of Risen Chameleos armor, which was good but not always as efficient. The charms that you want to look for are anything with build-up boost 2 or 3, and it has either 2-2-2 slots, 3-3, 3-3-1, or 2-2-1 slots. You can get build-up boost as an augment as well, so if you only get a build-up boost 2 charm, you can definitely try and roll that 3rd level in your Curious Augments. Now I know the charm is crazy, I am sorry, but that's how the end game goes, only the best will do. Now as far as armor goes, with Curious Augmenting and God Charms dropping left and right, we do have a lot of options to try and get the skills that we want. Let's first look at a set with no augments and a crazy charm to show you what you can build with just armor skills and a charm. Of course, Gold Rathian Longsword is our weapon of choice, anti-species deco of choice in your Rampage slot. Now the armor I went with is to help us get the major skills checked off without relying on augments. As you can see, we're able to check off all the necessities for Poison Longsword with no augments at all. And now I know guys, I can already hear you. Lord, your charm is crazy, I'll never get something that good. Trust me, I know the RNG is crazy, I've probably put down 1,000 charms already just to get this one. But it's okay, you don't have to build this exact set. Again, I'm just using this as examples. You'll get slots and build-up boost in your augments and charm as well. And another thing you guys can do is head to the set builder that I have linked in the description of all my videos. It will let you enter your charms and your curious armor, then input the skills that you see in the set here, and it will build you the best possible set with your own charms and armor, allowing you to hit the skills that you need without having to pray to the RNG gods that you get the exact same stuff that you see in my video. With armor and charms being as random as they are, pretty much everyone is going to have a different set. You're going to have different armor pieces, different skills, and different charms. So using a tool like this set builder will make your life a lot easier than just trying to copy me or anyone else exactly skill for skill, piece for piece, and charm for charm. So let's look at a set with augments in it. This will show you how you can take the skills we talked about earlier and the armor we just looked at and kind of combine that in practice with your own unique armor augments. As you'll notice, my armor is fairly similar to the no augment set, however I've swapped around 2 pieces being the legs and the arms. Again, this just shows that depending on your augments, you may be able to swap in some pieces to get more or even better skills. This is just an example of my own curious armor and charm to show you a way to take what we've talked about already in this video and use your knowledge gained to craft a solid endgame set. You can see if you compare this set's skills to the unaugmented set, we still have the same core important skills that I spoke about in the skills section. But I was also able to add a lot of complementary skills or boost skills that I already had, like adding a full 7 levels of attack boost, another level 2 Powder Mantle and Bloodlust, adding Defiance, and even some stun resistance. It really just shows what you can do once you understand the core of your weapon and how to build on that with your augments. If you really want to pay close attention to the augments as the armor scrolls through, you can see that none of my armor was augmented for attack boost, but by getting some of the other key skills from the augmented set in as my augments in the armor. Here, I was able to free up slots and change armor pieces, allowing me to get a full 7 attack boost without ever rolling a single attack boost augment. Guys, of course, if you do have any questions at all, feel free to leave those down in the comments below and I will respond to the best of my ability. I really do want to help you guys out here, and I hope that this video was able to help you out. If it did, be sure to leave a like down below. If you're new to the channel, new to Monster Hunter, or if you find yourself coming back on the regular, I do ask that you consider subscribing for more Monster Hunter content just like this. Be sure to keep an eye on the channel for more Title Update 5 content coming soon. With all that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I wish you all a good day, and happy hunting.